I just want to finish this chapter with Rav Gershon Edelstein, where he speaks about the three things that we need to work on in our lives to be able to, hopefully, Be'ez Hashem, be able to bring about the third Beis HaMikdash, and that is, as he said, the world stands on three things: Torah, Avodah, and Gemilas Chasadim, which is our learning, our davening, our midos, and Gemilas Chasadim and Chesed. And he writes at the end, the last time that we spoke together, is the idea of the importance of a person learning Mussar, learning ethical works that are going to help them to inspire themselves to find the pathway that's going to work best for them. The Rav Wolbe writes that when he was a young man, he thought that Mussar meant that you had to be depressed. If you learn about all the terrible things that you do in your life, and what a bad person you are, and all your weaknesses, and all your deficiencies, then Mussar must be really a terrible, terrible thing. You're supposed to feel miserable and depressed as a result. He said until he got to the Mir Yeshiva in Europe, where Rabbi Yeruchim Levovitz was the mashgiach, and he said Rabbi Yeruchim opened up a world of Mussar to him that showed him that not only is Mussar not a depressing thing, it's actually the most elevating and inspiring thing that a person can do. Because when you open yourself up to yourself, and you see parts of yourself that have been lying dormant, perhaps for all of your life, and you find out what you could work on, and where you could grow, and where you could improve, and what you could fix, and make yourself into a better person, there really is nothing more satisfying and gratifying and happy for a person to have besides those things. So he writes over here, the way that we're going to get to all of this growth, a person must set up for themselves every day a time to learn Mussar. However, you have to know there's a limit how much you're going to learn. You should not learn more than you need to. Which means that if you have shiurim that you must go to, you have Torah that you must learn. So Mussar cannot take the place of Gemara, cannot take the place of a halacha shir. It cannot take the place of even maybe a nach shir. That you have to learn, but you also have to learn Mussar, but you have to know how to balance them out. But every person is going to be different of how much Mussar, how much they have to work on themselves. There are great Mussar giants from previous generations that used to learn Mussar hours a day. He says, Kfi Shuva B'Sefer or Mussar, like it's brought down, one of the greatest disciples of Rav Yisrael Salanter was Naftali of Amsterdam, and he writes, Anoichi Yoshev Keis, Levadi, I'm sitting now by myself, V'cheder Miyuchad in a special room, Ukishtei Shois B'yoyim Ani Oisek B'Sefer HaMusari, I spend 2 hours a day learning Mussar. Now, if you would ever see a picture of Naftali Amsterdam, you'd be able to see that there's Yirat Shemayim that's etched in his face. The fear of heaven, the Shekhinah was hovering over him. Every single action that he did was what you could imagine what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted. And yet he felt for himself what he had to work on. It required 2 hours of Mussar every single day that he was learning. Sha'achas be'aboker, 1 hour in the morning. B'shari Kedusha, he was learning a Sefer Shari Kedusha. Ube'erev sha'achas b'sefer Reishis Chachma, and at night he was learning the Sefer Reishis Chachma. Kasher nichnasu harayonos b'leiv karoi. When I learn that much, the ideas, they enter into my mind properly. As misnachem ani, then I'm comforted. Ki libed al-Mussar b'yispilus mechaya halev u'mesamech hanefesh. When a person learns Mussar, b'yispilus, with excitement, with enthusiasm, it's mechaya halev, it gives life to one's heart. And it makes your nefesh, your soul, rejoice. There is the famous story / joke that is told in the Novardika Yeshiva, where they learned very, very serious Mussar, that they were famous for saying, I'm a nothing, I'm a nothing, I'm a nothing. So a young man came to the yeshiva. First day in the yeshiva, he looks around, he sees everybody learning, and he sits down on the Mussar and he says, I'm a nothing, I'm a nothing, I'm a nothing. And they said, who does this guy think he is? It takes a long time to become a nothing. But the point is that you don't become a nothing when you learn Mussar. It's mechaya halev, it gives life to one's heart, umesamech hanefesh, and it restores the joy, that's inside of one's soul. Mussar is the tavlin, it's the antidote to the Yetzer Hara. The Chassam Sofer said on a day that he didn't learn Mussar, the Chassam Sofer was one of the greatest leaders of the whole generation. He said on a day that he didn't learn Mussar, he felt like a behemoth, like an animal. That's the Chassam Sofer. So we could imagine on the day that we do learn Mussar, so we feel like less of an animal. Be'ez Hashem. So he writes like this. The Mishnah Berurah writes this. The rebuke of the words of Chazal, it helps us to heal our Yetzer Hara. Through the learning of Mussar that we do, we get a merit to be able to save ourselves from the difficulties of the Yetzer Hara. You should learn something that is interesting to you and draws out your attention. The more that something interests you, the more it's going to have an impact on you. Don't learn something that is far off and foreign and doesn't talk to you. Learn, there's so many hundreds, thousands of svarim that are out there. Learn something that is interesting, because if it's interesting, you'll pay attention, and the more that you pay attention, the more you focus, the more of a hashpah, the more of an impact it's going to have. And even after you learn, don't stop thinking about what the obligation one has in this world is. If you come to purify yourself, Hashem is certainly going to help you. When you learn Mussar, that's the coming to purify yourself. And if we do that, we'll merit to have Be'ez Hashem Siyata D'Shemaya. So if we'll learn a little bit of Mussar every single day, whatever you have to carve out, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour, 2 hours, like Rav Natali Amsterdam, whatever you might have, a person will learn, they'll be mechaya es halev, they'll give life to their heart, and they'll give simcha to their soul, and in that zechus, Yetz Hashem will correct these three things, Torah, Avodah, Tefillah, Gemilas Chasadim, acts of chesed and kindness, and in that zechus, we'll be able to have a chelik, a portion, in the building of the Bayis Shlishi, the third Beis HaMikdash. Just to remind you that Sammy is sitting over there in the back. Anyone that can help him after davening, may HaKadosh Baruch Hu help you as well.